What's up, guys? Guess what I just got? I got the DJI 3 Mic 3 or whatever it's called. Does it sound better? I'm not sure. But I got it. I'm testing it out. And oh, they're having something across the street. Oh, that's cool. They're probably going to have some bands playing. Oh, wait. Today's what? Thursday? Yeah, maybe tomorrow. Or I don't know. Whatever. Dang, what the heck's going on over here? Grand is active today. Oh, he's just getting water. I thought I thought he ran up on the truck and was taking something. Wouldn't surprise me around here. But I got it. I got new mics. I'm gonna get I tried to get a new camera yesterday, but I need to study those a little bit more first. But for today, I think what we're gonna do is do a little bit of script lettering with the brush pen. I'm not gonna do it with the brush because it takes too long to get all the materials ready and all that. But with the brush pen, it'd be fine. You know what I'm saying? Little brush pen action, little script lettering. I know I haven't been posting too much of my like actual art, so figured I'll do a little bit of lettering for this one, and gives me a good reason to test out the mics. The audio will get better, of course. I don't know what this is sounding like. Hopefully, it's sounding good. But I know there's a bunch of features on this thing that I don't know how to use yet. So I'm gonna learn that, and then the audio will get better by the next time. But I guess let's just get started. Let's get right into it. What'd you say?
This is blah blah blah.
You making fun of me?
Of course, I had to.
I'm recording videos.
Good.
You're sleeping.
Do that.
Wake up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do something with your life.
Go.
All right. So let's start off with like tools that I'm going to be using. So these are French curves. You can use these. You don't need them. I usually don't use them, but they're in the shop. So I'm going to show you how I would use them. I'm using these, I think they're called Tombos. So I like this is the N95 gray for the shadows. I got a few of them. N95. And then I could probably use this 993 yellow for the letters. And then I really like these Prismacolor pencils for highlights. So I use these just to give my letters highlights. You'll see what all this stuff does. So I even have a purple 606. We'll probably do some letters in the 606. So black, purple, anything that's not light gray, because I'm using a white background. So light gray will be my cast or my shadow. And then any other color will be the actual letters. So with that said, oh, and I'm using these little blue sketch pencils. These are like non-photo. This is a Stadler. I don't know how it's pronounced. I don't know the names of these tools, man. I just use them. This is the non-photo blue. So I use this for like the sketching of my background, like my lines that I'm going to follow. And then I go in and draw on top of it. You don't have to do this. If you're new, I would suggest you do use one of these, because then it doesn't bother your letters when you're putting them on top. Once you get to the point where you don't need to sketch out anything, then you move on to just drawing with the brush pen. You don't even have to draw guides or anything, but I'm going to teach you how to draw guides because this is like a basic little thing or whatever. I'm gonna think in my head that you've never done this. Another thing, so I created this like 5 years ago. My lady found it the other day. It's the anatomy of lettering. So it shows you like what your baseline is. Here, let's see what we got on here, because this is old school. So it's got your flourishes here. It's got your flourishes. That's what these are right here. It's got your cross stroke, which is on the T here. I bet you guys didn't know what this is called. It's called a tittle on top of the eyes. Those are called tittles. The counterform is basically your negative space in between like O's and G's and A's and like lowercase A's or whatever, like that. But and then these little curves where a line is connected to another line or a stroke is connected to another stroke. Where to go? That's your shoulder. So this part right here would be your shoulder. I mean, you can tell it's like that. You know what I'm saying? One part of the A, one part of the G, whatever. Shoulder. Um, Anything that comes down below the baseline is a descender. Anything that comes above the baseline would be an ascender. And I didn't write that on there. See, this is old school. This is old. I didn't do this. I didn't put all the things on here. There's also way more lines than just these three, but these are the three basic lines you're gonna need, which is your cap height, your X height, and your baseline. Those are the three lines you're gonna have to draw so that your letters kind of stay cohesive. And you see the slant on these letters? The more slant you add, I think the more pretty your script will look. You want to stick with at least a 45-degree angle, but it can go to 50, 60 degrees, whatever you want, you know? You can even slant it in the opposite direction, but we're not going to do that. But yeah, man, it's that's pretty much it for tools. For tools here, the poster, I just showed it to you because I thought it was funny. My lady found it the other day, and I should make another one. Maybe I'll offer it on the website or something. I don't know. Let me know if you're interested in something like that, because it would be like my hand lettering and then all the different, basically the anatomy of why I drew it that way. Aside from that, I think let's get started. Let's see what we could draw here. So these here you can use to basically follow your stroke. Say you want your letters to kind of have like a cool angle or whatever. The angle's too drastic. I don't know if you can see this because it is non-photo blue, so hopefully you could see it. But you can use these to get your angle that you want or your curve that you want. But like I said, I actually just like drawing it by hand. So like we're gonna use this one, but for the next design I'm gonna just do it by hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'll start with the purple, and let's say we're gonna write, what could we write? Let's write mama. All right, so here's your cap height, here's your X height, and here's your baseline. So mama, M, and then this is a very stylized style, like form of script. This isn't the traditional copperplate or nothing. It's just how I like drawing script, and it changes all the time. I don't draw the same exact style of lettering all the time, but for right now, this is what we're gonna do. So what I do is, this is a traditional thing, is when you're pulling your strokes down, you press and you get that thickness. You know what I'm saying? So here I'm pressing, I get that thickness. If I'm going up, I release the pressure and it gets thin. So then here I want to press to get it fat again, and then that's how you get that M there. You can even come in, and if you want more style, like say this M isn't stylish enough for you, then you can come in and add a little flourish. You know what I'm saying? Then like I said, you just thin. If you want it thicker, you press hard. You want it thin, you release the pressure. I don't know if you can catch that all in the video, but this is how I'm doing it. So for what did I say I was gonna write? Mother. We'll do mother. So M-O. And if you notice, the angle is the same. So what we could do to keep that angle the same is we'll do this. Whoop. 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 And you don't have to stay in these Like, this isn't the size of a letter or anything. It's just to kind of give you a little guide for the angle. That's all we're looking at. M-O. We're going to push down because this part of the T is thick. And then release real thin to go up. Now, when you're doing a lowercase t, since this is your X height here, you want your T to stick out a little bit above your X height. And then the bar on your X height, you can put at the same height as your X, or your X height. This would be your X height, the top of the O. If you really want, I can get really confusing, so just bear with me. So for the O, usually you want it to drop just a tiny little bit under the baseline, and you want it to stick up a little tiny bit above the X height. Just a little bit, because then, you know, your eyes will basically fix the size of it, and will make it look right. I don't know, I can't explain anything right now. M-O-T, the H I bring up even a little bit higher than the top of the T. And because it's a downstroke, I'm pulling. I'm pulling, so I'm pressing hard. And then when I'm going up, remember it's thin. Pressing to make it thicker. And then up, thin. M-O-T-H. The E, same thing. You're pressing and then releasing. Pressing, releasing. M-O-T-H-E. The E, same thing as the O. You want the top part of the E to stick out just a tiny little bit above the X height, and just a tiny little bit below the baseline. The reason for that is because the letters are round. So because the letter is round, it'll end up looking like a smaller letter if you make it the exact same height as all the other lowercase letters. So anything that's round, even like a lowercase g, a lowercase or an O, a lowercase e, a lowercase a, you want this part of the letter to stick out just a tiny little bit. And this is kind of sloppy, but we're gonna keep going. The R, press, and then this is where you can bring in some style again because it's the last letter. Remember, this one's thin because you pressed on the E this way, and then when you come up, it's an upstroke. So you want this one to be thin. I like adding this little style here. Press, bam. See, now you got the word mother. Cool little design. And once again, because the M is your capital letter, you can go nuts with it. You don't have to make it plain and simple. Sometimes I'll even take this part of the M and just kind of, do something crazy with it. You can turn this part of the M into another flourish, so I could bring this in like this. Whoop, whoop, you know what I'm saying? And then you can bring in another flourish just under it. If you really want to get crazy, you can do a round one. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot you could do with the M to where it kind of hugs the rest of the letters and it looks really cool. Now I'm going to show you what I would do with the shadow color. So now we're bringing out the N95, which is a light gray. And what you want to do is you want to figure out your light source. In this case, I always like making my light source on the top left. So imagine this is the sun here. All right, the sun is bringing light this way. So therefore, the top left of your letters is going to be light, and the bottom right should be dark. Just like in real life, the bottom right, it should be casting a shadow to your bottom right. So let's cast some shadows. What I'm doing is I'm basically following this design here. So you see this design? You see this line here? That should be casting a shadow on the bottom. So I'll just bring a little shadow there. This should be casting a shadow down here. So I'll bring it down there. This is another piece. If the sun's coming from over here, this should be casting a shadow as well. You know what I'm saying? Same as this one. Should be casting a shadow to the bottom right. Bottom right. So I just keep adding these shadows and just keep an eye on where I'm putting them. I know this is one of the parts that when I was studying letter forms and trying to figure out where people were putting their shadows, if you don't know where light sources are, if you didn't take art in school or whatever, then just pay attention to where I'm putting them. And remember, the light is on the top left, so all your shadows should be on the bottom right. It's kind of really just common sense because it's the way real life works. You know what I'm saying? So now we casted our shadows, and what I like doing because it's a shadow color, this is just something I do. Nobody else does this, but you know, feel free to use this if it's something you like. Because I do a lot of scroll work and a lot of pinstriping, I like to take the shadow color and then just kind of add some pinstriping designs. You see that? And they're not very visible, but they're there. It's just a little bit of pinstriping just to add some flavor to the design. And now what I was talking about when I was saying like I love the highlights of these Prismacolors. So I'll get a white Prismacolor and then I'll flatten the edge out. Just kind of flatten it there. Get a nice little flat edge. And you can come in and like I said, the sun is on the top left. So we're gonna come on the top left of these letters and just add a little highlight. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to press very hard. But it doesn't have, when it comes to the highlight, there's another thing people do with these light colors on here is they call them snow caps. So you just take it and like highlight only the tops and make it look like snow. Um, that's cool too. Or sometimes you'll see like in the tattoo world where they'll take the center part of the letter and then just pull down with it. I'm messing up my design because I'm just showing you what I'm talking about, but basically you just take it and add that. Instead of all the highlights I did, you just kind of do these little highlights in the center of the letter and have it go down, and then now you have little cool little highlights inside your letters. Um, that's what this white is really good for as well. Really like doing that. And another thing you can do, say you're doing like tattoo style or whatever, I know you can add little spurs to the side of your letters here. I'm noticing I did something here that I shouldn't have. The T is way too close to the O. My kerning is way off there. I should have bumped the T up over a little bit, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just kind of drawing. But you can kind of do that, and then kind of gives it a little tattoo vibe or whatever. You can add both sides if you really want to get crazy with it, just like that. I'm not a big fan of these, but people use them. And you're seeing it in real time. I'm just messing around real quick, trying to get these basics down. So now that we have that, you basically have a finished design. You can take that, vector it, throw it on a shirt or whatever, you know. Or if you're doing hats, I don't know if you saw the video where I showed you how I draw on the bottom of the hats. That's a cool little hat design. You can put that on the bottom of a hat. So we'll do Lost Angel. So remember what I was talking about? So now I'm gonna just kind of draw my my template. Let's see, we'll cut that in half, and then from there to there we'll start here, there, and there. Just some basic stuff. All right, we're gonna do the word lost angel. What color did we do the other one? Purple. We'll do yellow because we don't have teal. All right. So remember, when you're pulling down, you press. Now for this one, just because of the style, because of how I want it to look, I'm not gonna press because I want this L to kind of have like that look right there. You see that? Technically, this should have been a pulled stroke, but when you're trying to go with style, sometimes you break the rules. So we'll do L. O. S. T. Now don't go breaking the rules just yet. It's not until you figure out what looks good and what works and what doesn't, that's when you can break the rules. For now, just remember, downstrokes, you press hard, upstrokes, you release tension, you release the pressure. So we got the word lost there. Now we're going to do angels or angel. Yeah, angel. We'll do angel. So for the A, press down. We're going to do a cool little swoop here. We'll do another swoop here and then press. Ooh, we lifted too high. So there's the A here. And press. You know what? I'm going to do something. So now we got this design that came down this way. I'm going to pull up. Oh, that looks like a giant S now, though. Let's add the N. Remember, press, lift, press, lift. For the G, lift. Oops. A N G E L. Now we're just drawing, you know what I'm saying? It looks like an A now because of the word angel. It's not going to be single, you know what I'm saying? So we can get away with it. But it does kind of look like an S, you know what I'm saying? And now we have this swoop here. So one thing we could do is turn this swoop into a little flourish, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with the T. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a cool little pinstripe design there. And we're just freehanding. We're just seeing where this goes, you know what I'm saying? I don't like this, the way this looks here, but these are sketches. Once you throw this into the computer and start tracing again, you can fix things that you messed up. So that was with the, what's the brand again? Tombow, the 993 yellow, right? So now we're bringing the N95 back for that shadow. Remember, the light source is over here, shooting light this way, so your shadow is going to be casting down and to the right. And like I said earlier, I'll take the the gray, the N95 from the background, and I'll just add pinstriping. You know, you start adding little designs. So here, boom, just like that. Bring this around. Boom, now it's got a cool little angle that wraps around. So now that these wrap around down here, it'd be cool to bring one from over here. And now it wraps around up there. See, cool little shadow idea, you know. Now it kind of hugs the design. And then you pull out the Prismacolor highlight, the white. And this is the PC938, so it's just white. And I remember I like to flatten the tip on it. And on this one, we'll do what we were talking about, where it's just from the middle down. So these are highlights from the center. And because the yellow is already really light, it's only adding a really, really light highlight. It's not making it stand out like the way the purple did, you know? But it's cool. Get a little cool little highlight going. I think that looks pretty cool. Let's get closer to it. So it's just a quick little drawing, you know, some script lettering. You got your X height, you got your cap height, you got your baseline, you got your angles. As long as you keep the right angles and the right thickness, thick and thins going, you can do some pretty cool lettering. So I don't know, go get yourself some Tombos or whatever brush pen you could find. You know, a dark color, a light gray if you're going to be doing it on a white background, and then get that white Prismacolor for the highlights, and you know, do wonders, man. You could take this, dump it into Illustrator, trace it, make a t-shirt, and you know, who knows, you might be able to sell it. People might want to buy them, and might make some money. But I guess that's all for today, or maybe not, who knows. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.